So let's start off with, why do Asians like karaoke so much? That's a good place to start.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know why Asians like karaoke so much. It's typically the Koreans and the Filipino people that like karaoke the most, I think.
Is that racist that I say that? Like, that they're, assuming that it's just all Asians, but it is all... one time I was at a bar, and we were the Asian people, and they were talking about something, and someone goes, "Hey, where's a good karaoke bar?" to the Asian guy, and I looked at him, I go, "Isn't that racist? I'm just asking this random Asian guy if he knows where." And then the guy's like, "No, I know plenty of them." And he started listing off places. I was like, "Well, okay, if the shoe fits, then I guess
if the shoe fits,
it will wear it."
I don't know. Maybe it's a form of expression. It's just part of the culture.
I'm not two things I don't like. I mean, there's a few things I don't like. I don't like I don't like bowling, and I don't like karaoke.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get why people like it. I don't
like you
get
don't
it.
like it because you're self-conscious?
No, I don't. I mean, I'll sing right now. I don't give a fuck. I sound like shit, but I don't get why people like. It's just not. Like, same thing. Bowling's not fun. I don't know why people do it. There's nothing fun about this. We're trying to knock down pins.
I'm sure
bowling alleys usually smell bad. You put on someone else's shoes. I don't. What is appealing about any of this? I don't like it.
I don't know. It's the throw action. I'm sure people think podcasting is not fun.
Yeah, well, they're idiots. I like to listen to other people's... I know, I like to listen to smart people's conversations. Nothing bores me more than a boring conversation, so I like to listen to interesting... Because whenever you ever go to a party and like you talk to anyone in general, and you're like, I hate that I'm here talking to you right now. I do that all the time.
Yeah, that's why I just run around telling dad jokes.
So you wanted to start a podcast. What was your podcast going to be about? And why didn't you do it? What stopped you?
Oh, probably a lot of levels of fear, but...
Fear of what? No one's going to listen to this anyways. I just do this for fun. It's more of like my own personal diary. That way I can look at it later and just be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see like 10 years from now and be like, I was an idiot,
Yeah, no, I should do something like that. It's like an uncut, unedited version of just real conversation on video. That's what this is, right? There's not sort of an agenda and an episode where you have to follow something. The podcast that I kind of want to do would be self-development type, but then you kind of have to have an agenda and an objective for the season or the series or the episode.
Right.
I just like to talk, but I don't think people think it'd be interesting, just me talking all day.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of uninterested people that have podcasts, so I'm sure it's fine. I mean,
guess.
self-help. What made you get into self-help? I mean, here's the problem. I should, obviously self-help is good. I can't, what's the word? I'm not disciplined enough to do it. I'm totally into it. I do try, obviously, to get better. There's like stuff. That was a big part of this trip I'm about to take. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm going to Costa Rica in a couple of days for a month.
Sweet.
I'm really nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm excited / nervous / I don't know what to expect. I'm just
going in with it.
Yeah, I'm just like going.
Do you have any intentions? How about setting one or two intentions?
Sure. What's a good intention to set? No, I do want to. One of my intentions is just like, I don't know, finding. Not what this sounds so stupid, but I'm not finding what I want to do, but finding like more motivation and to just like get out of the norm. I feel like breaking away, like starting something, especially this past year. Obviously, if there's one good thing that came out of this year, it just made you realize, I hope it made a lot of people realize that life's short. And, I definitely don't think I want to do the normal 9-to-5 thing. So I'm just like nervous, and I want to see, live in another country for a month. I think that will be good, see what's out there.
It might open your eyes to things when you give yourself space to think about that away from your 9-to-5.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're working 9-to-5 now. I'm not quite sure what your schedule is like, but it could open up a lot of things. But maybe there's deeper questions, and this is where kind of the self-development stuff that I like to talk about.
Oh, I can't wait to hear you. I can't wait to hear your deep questions. Go ahead, ask away.
Well, no, because I'm kind of going through the same type of journey, but unfortunately I'm doing it in the Heights in Houston, not in Costa Rica. Yeah. So I'll be here for the next month.
Wait, can I ask you? Okay, I want to see like we're in the same spot. You mind if I ask you how?
Go ahead.
How old
do I look? Everyone always asks that. I don't like
Okay, you act older. So, I mean, if I just saw you walking down the street without hearing you speak, I'd probably say 17, like 20s. 18. No, relax. Relax. Okay. Relax. Okay. Let's all be honest.
I'm not a minor anymore.
I would say, no. I would say like 27, 28.
Okay, that's good. I'll take it. I'm 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you look great. I mean, 30. No, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your wisdom. I don't sound. You look young, but you don't sound like an idiot. So that's two compliments.
Oh, thank you.
See, I
don't sound like an idiot.
I sound like an idiot and look old. So there's two.
You don't sound like
some
an idiot.
Girl. I did the whole. Some girl asked me, and I was like, I don't know. I just like to. I honestly, genuinely like to hear what people's opinion is, because I've heard. They always say, what's your age? I always guess. Like, I've heard all old and young. I just like hearing what people think. So, yes, this past weekend, actually, some girl goes, I don't know, 35? I was like, oh, no, I'm 33.
Yeah. So we're in the same age group.
Range.
When's your birth range? We're like within months of each other. When's your birthday?
May 31st.
Yeah. So within 6 months. I'm August 23rd.
Oh, okay.
So, it's not like we're different generations, so this is the same conversation.
So what's your journey you're going on now, here in the Heights?
Here in the Heights. Well, I'm asking myself questions beyond what the obvious is. So I'm kind of in the same mode. I don't want to be in corporate America. Hopefully this isn't going to be broadcasted all over the internet where my company gets
No, it's fine. I mean, that's the other thing I don't like. Like, why can't you talk about, what do you, is the company strict to you to work for them until you die? Am I not allowed to have goals for myself? That doesn't make sense. When people say that, like, I'm not allowed, am I not allowed to be looking for other jobs? Yeah, I mean, they would replace you in a second, in a heartbeat. So why do I have to play this game with you? Like, I love this company. Like, it's a good job. I like working here, but I'm not going to die for you, just like you wouldn't die for me. And it'd be weird if either one was the other way. If they were like all about you or you were all about them, that's really weird. So I don't get why people care about, or like why that's a big deal. Like, even if you were.
I think it's a fear probably that they instill in us. It's not really a fear.
No, I think it is. I mean, for money, right? I think they want to say, like, you need us, basically.
Yeah, for a bunch of reasons. I mean, a lot of it's ego. So money and ego. Talent, they want to retain that. But I'm in a very old school industry, so I'm in oil and gas. And so that's very much... Oh, you are too? Okay.
Yeah.
Finance and oil and gas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, tax consulting, but yeah.
Okay, so... You know how the industry is. It's very much... And with a major in the oil and gas industry... They forever hired for lifers to sign on right after college. We didn't have experienced hires for a very long time. That's just a recent thing. And then you'd work for 30, 35 years. You retire, you get your 401k, you get your pension. And they move you around. At least in our company, you get a new job every couple years. So you can have a blossoming career within the company, but they promote longevity and tenure. These days, especially our generation, doesn't want to do that.
Oh, the new, or even Gen Z, the new one, they really don't care. They absolutely, I mean, I respect that. I mean, I know, like, the old people, they don't like it because they don't understand it, but I respect it, man. They're like, hey, we're going to do what we want. We don't really care what you say or do or think. Because I think they saw how they screwed over their parents. When the whole economy crashed, I think they saw, like, how, this doesn't make sense, and y'all don't care about us because you left us out in the cold, and we remember you let our parents out in the cold, and no one said anything,
You're talking like early 2000s.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah. Because remember, they're 2008. Let's say a kid was 10 in 2008. They're 21 now. They're just getting out of college,
That's true. And they're shaping their lives much different. They're not putting all their stock into these companies.
Right. So as you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Because...
Shouldn't, yeah. I had a conversation about this right before coming over here. And some of the questions I'm asking, I'm going through all this, like, big roller coaster of stuff. But... that's a different subject, I guess, for us now. The whole, like, what do I want to do type thing? Like, what do I do? What do I like? Yeah. Those are the questions you kind of want to arrive at, or the answers you want to arrive at. But how about deeper? Like, why do I want to answer that question? And what would that open up for me? And then things become a little bit more clear on what it is.
Oh, I know why I don't. Yeah, I know why I don't. I know the answer. I mean, I don't like... One of the biggest, I almost had a panic attack the other day, because someone said it was a 1-year anniversary of the pandemic. And it was almost like I realized in that moment when I heard that, I was like, I remember exactly what I was doing 1 year ago. And I can't believe it's been a year, but I feel like I just watched a year of my life go by in an instant. Because I was like, I know exactly what I was doing. I know exactly where I was. Remember exactly what was going on. Because not a lot of stuff happened. The days started going, all going. And it's like, I can't believe that was a year. That seems like it was yesterday. And it's like,
it does.
So much, and yet nothing happened in a year. And it's like, you just, in an instant, it's like someone said, hey, you just lost a year of your life yesterday. And it was just I started to have a meltdown. It scared the hell out of me. I was like, I don't ever want to have that feeling again where I look back 10 years and just be like, oh, I don't know where those 10 years went. I was like, oh, that'd be the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, it definitely would. So let's take a step back. Do you think you've ever felt that or would feel the same thing if it were a non-pandemic year? I mean, can you say from
absolutely.
30 to 31, monumental things happen? that are distinguishing in 29 to 30, 28 to 30, 29? Like every single year, are you saying that something happened, but this year with the pandemic, you felt like nothing happened?
I think it was more, you're more aware of it because you're more aware of it. Cause like, like a month ago, I couldn't, tell you what I did, but like the pandemic, I was basically working from home. I know exactly what my day to day. I literally didn't just work from home. Maybe went to the gym. There was nothing you couldn't go out. No one could get together. So it's not like nothing major. You went to some events outside, but like other than that, there was nothing going on. So yeah, I think it was a little bit more noticeable.
Definitely. I tell my colleagues, it's been one long day since last March. Because there's no distinguishing fact. There's no wedding that I went to, no birthday party, no trip that I went to that stands out. So I get it. So those are some good questions you're asking yourself. So there's the why. You don't want to look back and feel like you're lost something or missed out on something.
Yeah.
But like, is there a deeper thing you could be asking yourself to get you the answers that you want? Because what happens to me is like, I'll take this time and I'll figure out what I want. Okay, what do I like to do?
Oh, I know what I want. If I didn't have to pay rent, if someone was like, here's $10 million, you don't have to worry about money ever. Oh, I would know exactly what I would do tomorrow.
Okay, what's that?
So it's not a money. It's more of like I have to feed myself. I have to,
Okay, well, what is it that you would do?
If someone was like, give me $1 million tomorrow, I would for sure I would probably buy a warehouse somewhere downtown. I would live upstairs, turn the bottoms part into a bar / like probably like dance studio. Probably have like dance classes or like have events at the downstairs part and live above it. And then I would probably work on investing more. I would still try to invest, maybe become like a VC or try to find a startup and try to help like support their startup if I can find something that I really wanted to, but also get more into investing in the stock market, because I've been doing that more recently and I kind of like it, so I'm starting to do that more like even now anyways. But I would definitely, if I had the money, I would for sure try to do that as best I could. And
so those are things you would be doing with your money because you think that's the best way to make more money and you would enjoy them?
Well, no, like, I don't know. If I didn't have to, no, I mean, obviously I have to work. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. You got to tell me. Okay. Pull yours. I'm worried about not hearing because it's a little bit farther from you. So I'm worried about not being here to you. But if I'm loud, tell me.
Okay. Only when you get excited.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I will turn mine down. Is that perfect? Can you still hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So normally if I had headphones, I would be able to
either
tell.
that or the volume on this thing's loud.
I don't think the volume. No, there's no volume on that. So
okay.
It's just what's coming in the mic. So there's no volume on that.
No, that's good.
Okay. So is this good? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We can edit that part out.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's fine. It's only 2 seconds. But I'm glad you told me. But yeah, if I didn't have to worry about money, so the only thing is like feeding myself. I'm paying rent. If you like to pay my rent, I would be happy to quit my job and do that. Exactly.
I don't even want to pay.
Yeah, exactly. No one does. Exactly.
No, I guess even like, okay, why did you choose those things?
Why did I choose those?
Yeah, why did you say if I had $10 million?
Because they're the most fun.
Those are most fun.
Yeah.
So just fun.
Yeah.
Like, does it scratch any other itch for you?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good. I think other.
Like, is having the most fun the most important thing to you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, because you get to interact with other people too, and you get to help other people. It's not just you get to help. You would be able to help other people have fun too. So it's not just like fun for me. I get to help other people have fun too.
And you enjoy that. Not everyone enjoys that. So you're taking it from, this is what I would do. It would be fun. Why would it be fun? Well, I also get to help other people. So there's a caring, nurturing side that you want to scratch there. You want to have other people have success while you have success, and everyone has a good time doing it.
Yes.
There's probably even a deeper reason on beyond that. And it sounds really silly, and we probably won't get to it on this podcast, but if you think about it just a little bit later on, like, why are those things important to me? Why are things like...
I'll tell you why I think that's important to me, because people don't have enough fun. And because I think people, when I see people, okay, here's why it's important to me for people to have fun, is because I think too many people get worked up in the same thing that we're doing, the 9 to 5, and they forget that life's so much shorter than people think. It's just so much shorter than people think. And if you're not having fun, you're missing out on everything good. Because one day, right now, you're gonna have fun, and who knows if next year? I mean, who knows if next year you're gonna be like, there's a pandemic. Who knows
if you get hit by a car or something? Anything can happen.
So,
can you make fun in the moment that you are in now, where you
of
are.
course. I try my best, but there's almost so much fun. That's the problem with the working in the industry that we're in. I mean, there's you
don't go to work and you're like, I'm having fun today.
There's only so much fun you can have with Excel sheets, and data analysis. So it's kind of limited.
You're creating your own fun. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a perspective thing, but I'm not saying don't jump ship, because I definitely would love to jump ship, but I'm trying to figure out the right reasons of why and lead me to do the things that I want to do. And I'm trying to figure that out. And these are some of the questions I ask. Anything that I really do, if I'm really trying to dissect it, I go 5 layers deep, trying to ask, okay, well, why is that important to me? And there's obviously the obvious answers always at the top, but then there's more and more and more. As you get further down, it gets scarier. As it gets scarier, it opens up more of like a different level. It's almost like a video game. You unlock a different level and other things just start making sense.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm too scared to go that deep, man.
I keep those. Be pretty intense.
I keep those layers locked up, and I keep them locked up for a reason.
I know. And you say that, and you say it in kind of a funny way.
I'm absolutely being dead serious.
I know.
I've done mushrooms before. I don't like to unlock those doors at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get those experiences without taking mushrooms, and it is super scary during, but so extremely liberating after.
Yeah, exactly.
So extremely liberating. So a couple weekends ago, I have been feeling a lot of anxiety lately about a lot of different things. And so I'm like, what the hell is going
go
on?
Ahead and tell me. You can't. I'm not going to let you gloss over that.
I'm going to tell you the experience of how I tackled it. Okay?
I want to hear it, though.
So I've been having anxiety.
You don't got to tell me all of them. Tell me one. What is one of the things you're having anxiety about?
Just work. Work, or what I want to do. And what's my purpose? Like, is this what I want to do? Is this what I feel like I can succeed in? Those anxieties.
No child is like, oh, you know what I really want to do? I want to work in the oil and gas industry. No one says that.
I didn't say I want to slang lube since a child, right?
Yeah.
But no, so there's some of that, and it spills into like uncertainty and like next steps. Do I want to stay in Houston? Do I like Houston? Like that plays into it. There was just general anxiety about different things. It was preventing me from living in the moment, and so I was focused a lot more. And I realized that everywhere I've lived, because I've lived in a few different places. I grew up in Pennsylvania, kind of lived in DC for a while, went to college in Florida, back to Pennsylvania, then to DC, Arkansas for a little bit. And then I was like, fuck it. And I didn't like Philly where I was living. And I decided to pick up my shit and move to California when I was 24. And I sold all my possessions. So I was like hopping around. And I thought it was because I wanted to explore and see the world. But I was always wondering like about the last place I was in and looking towards the next place. Like even when I was in California for 6 years, I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, what's next? I can't stay here forever. And I was thinking, well, what about the last place? So I was straddling the last chapter and the future chapter and not being in the moment everywhere I've lived. So that's part of it. And so I was thinking about all this stuff, and I went through what meant to be like a 10-minute journal session, turned into 3 hours of me typing onto a Word doc, just like laying out everything that I was thinking. I laid out like what I wanted in a job and a partner in life, my fears, and then I dug deep into each of the fears. And it was interesting. So if I put down, let's just say 10 to 12 fears, and I did the whole next layer thing. When I got to layer number 4 or 5 of almost all the fears, they all led to the same thing. And I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't put it down on paper, because this shit goes on in my mind all the time. And it comes out in the decisions that I make. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, of course, I want to know.
You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Of course, no. I want to ask you what that fear. I mean, obviously, what was the answer that you came to? And I don't expect you to share it. So I'm sure it's very personal. But I'm sure anyone else is like, please tell me what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't mind talking about it. I think there's a lot of context behind it.
It's okay. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Next podcast.
I'm sure it's very personal. Okay.
I'm not scared of sharing personal things. I think it's just hard to have people understand what goes on in this crazy brain of mine if I don't give it the right context. And there's a lot of story behind a lot of it. But in general, it's a fear that I think a lot of people have, especially children when they're younger and they didn't grow up in like a nuclear family or something that was stable. They might have a fear of abandonment, and that's what mine was.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Fear of it not, and this just spreads around like a lot of people, like fear of not being good enough, fear of not feeling worthy or valuable. And mine stemmed from I didn't want to feel alone again like I did when I was a child. Other people have for different reasons. They had to prove themselves.
And moving to a different city every time, that's kind of the opposite of what you're...
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so when I was writing it down, I was like, oh my God, like I'm doing this to myself.
Yeah, that's weird.
In some way, shape, or form. But when I was little, I had to really learn how to be independent at a young age.
Yeah.
And that has helped me a lot in my life. But I just thought like, oh, you're being independent. You're learning and seeing the world. Like no one else in your family wants to do that. You get to go do that, be the black sheep. But I realized that maybe that was just my way of kind of perpetuating the feeling that I was trying to not feel.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
It's funny. It's always a balance because there's some people that aren't independent enough and never, which is a bad thing. If you're lazy and you depend on other people, that's a bad one. But it's also a really bad thing if you're too independent because you think you don't need people. Yeah. And then when you find yourself in a hard time, you're like, you really, it's like you really just screwed yourself over because nobody can go through life alone. Nobody, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you have. No matter what, there is a time, a place where you're going to need somebody to come and help you. You're going to have to call somebody to help you.
Yeah.
And then if you're too busy this whole time setting up these walls to protect yourself, eventually you're going to end up screwing yourself over because you're going to just lock yourself away from everyone. Mm-hmm. So it's funny that
you know this kind of stuff already.
Of course. I think everyone does it to some, like I said, it's all a healthy balance that you have to find, that everyone has to find, and that everyone's on that spectrum. But I'm on the more probably, I don't know, I'm weird. I'm too lazy. I can be very, what's the word, lazy and unmotivated, and I forget what the word is where you wait. Procrastinate. I'm a huge procrastinator, but I think it's also a way of me like pushing people away, like trying to be myself. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. It's a bad habit. I know it's like I try to break it, and like recently, it's one of those things where at least I know it's a problem, and now finding the right discipline to fix it, that's another story.
Yeah, well, there's multiple things, and those are symptoms or byproducts of the actual issue. It's not like you're a procrastinator. You just procrastinate on things that you want to procrastinate on. If it's something you really like, you're not a procrastinator, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. There's something, there's some things that I did where I like really wanted something and I went and did something and I was like, that was a complete psychopath move. Why did you do that? Like, you understand how crazy that was that you went all the way out of the way to get something you wanted? So weird.
So you're not opposed to any of that, right? It's just those things that you're procrastinating are things that don't motivate you or whatever.
Right.
It could also
finding the thing that motivates you, everything seems so out of reach. Everything seems so out of reach these days. Like, it's not like back in the day.
There's something to that.
No. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Back, like think in the 40s or 30s, I think you were able to have a wage and save money. People these days, it's not just not the same world. And I think older people don't understand that. I think that's another part of, like, we were talking about Gen Z earlier, is that I think they feel that older people don't understand that the world has changed so much around them, and it's not like it used to, because it's changing so quickly. They just don't understand everything that you are aware of from your time. It's not the same.
Yeah,
everything has changed.
I mean, things change from even in our life.
Yeah, I know.
Like from decade to decade to decade. Yeah.
And I think they feel like left out, that no one, because they're not in control. The older people are still in control, and they just feel like the old people know nothing about me, and yet they're controlling the shots. They're telling me what to do when they know nothing about me, and they know nothing about the struggles, and I can't relate to them at all, and they can't relate to me at all, but yet they're the ones telling me what to do. And it's,
yeah, I mean, that probably isn't different from prior years. I mean, there's different things that have happened. There's a big stretch of what's happened in the last, 100 years, even in the last 50, 20 years with technology and the mindset and everything that we're exposed to now. But that's a different conversation. I want to go back to what you're saying is...
I'm very good at reflecting.
I know. I know. And I'm really good at reeling that back in.
I can't wait to ask away. Let's go.
Well, you're saying things are out of reach. What do you mean is what's out of reach? Like saving and like a home, like I think it's ownership?
Just, yes.
Or
I mean, what are you talking about? Ownership of homes is the lowest it's ever been for
So you mean like age. Material and next chapter of your life?
Let's talk about, I'm not talking about materialism. Materialism leads to freedom, right? Or the better off, the more money you have economically, the more freedom you have to do whatever you want. It goes back to, from when we went from like a farmer, or from like hunter and gatherers to farmers, right? We became more time, we were allowed to have more freedoms. But so obviously the more you're
access
able,
to things. I don't know if we have more freedom.
No, I disagree. No, you definitely have more freedom. No.
So then what definition of freedom?
No, you're buying. I believe that 100%. The more money you have, the more freedom you're able to buy. I believe that 100%.
Freedom you're able to buy. You're more free to do the things you want to do. You have more access to things.
Right.
But when I hear freedom, I don't necessarily think that. I think we're almost shackled by some of the technology we have and the mindset we have. We're in a very competitive culture. We're in a very do it for me culture. We're in a very, it has to be convenient. It has to be now. And I want to snap of my fingers on my phone, all of this. I feel like I'm almost shackled. Like I'm locked down to that type of life. And if I don't keep up with that, if I don't try to order my food on Uber Eats, I just don't eat. That's not really what happens. But you know what I'm saying? You have to adjust to that kind of life. And I'm seeing that a little bit because I resist technology in some ways. But if you go look at countries like Burma or places that don't have access to that technology, they're fucking running around the hills. That's pretty free. They're not shackled by all this, what's this, the race, get ahead culture and all of that. You have money to do things, but is that really freedom? I almost feel like there's more stress when you have more money. It seems like there wouldn't be much stress.
I guess it depends on. No, I can't explain it. I mean, you probably are more. I guess it depends on what you. Okay. I believe. Okay, let me explain it to you this way. Someone told me this, and I believe it 100%. Life is about low overhead. Low overhead. Low overhead is, right? Mm-hmm. So life is about low overhead. So for you, yes, if you keep your spending with, let's say you make $1 million, but you spend $900,000 a year. Yeah, you're just gonna be stressed out because you have to keep making that $1 million because you spent $900. But if you make $1 million and you only spend $100,000 every year, I don't think you're gonna be stressed out at all, and you're gonna have plenty of freedom. And you're gonna, right. Because you're not trying to. Oh, next year I got to make $1 million too. Let's say next year
you can keep that discipline, and you're not.
Let's say next year I only make $200,000. I'm still $100,000 ahead of the game instead of that $1 million ahead of the game. So it's you're still gonna have that freedom that you want. So it obviously depends on what you do with it. But 100%, without a doubt in my mind, you'll never be able to explain me. Money absolutely buys you freedom. Absolutely.
I believe in what I think you're saying. I'm just saying consider that there's another layer to it. But even say you're trading, you're kind of getting into it, you're liking it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're trading at $1 million level or $10, whatever it is, right? I'm in that too. I'm kind of caught up in it. So if I had more money, if I had $100,000 to place on a trade, then I'm like, oh wow, look at how much I made when I got 30%. What if I only had $500,000 to make a trade? And it just keeps going. I don't know. Even now, when I'm making, $500 trades, and if I wanted to make more, I would. Where would I stop? Yeah. And I'm at the very low end. I don't know if you make $1 million and you have the ability to only spend $100,000, would you spend $100,000?
No, you wouldn't. No.
So your freedom isn't really.
No, yes, I would stop. Let's say I would stop to where I would be able. I mean, this is just a guess because I don't really know. I've never been in that position, but I would like to think. But it's like being famous. I would like to think that I would know how I would react if I was famous, but I don't know. I would like to think I would still be a good person. I don't know.
Right.
Well, but I would like to think that I would not go crazy, but I don't know.
If you looked at 10-year-old JP and the things that he would have thought, would you be doing the things that 10-year-old JP thought?
See, that's not fair. I mean, I never. When I was younger, I never got to. I mean, I didn't have the luxury of thinking about the future.
Well, not even that, but the way you act about certain things or the way you go about life. Are there things that you do now that you didn't think that you would be like that?
No.
None.
I mean, I mean, I can't think of a time where I was like, oh, or you
did you
give me a better example? I can't give me did I ever was I ever sitting in a tree and think what?
I don't know. It could be something as basic as, you thought you would be married and have kids by 27.
No, never thought that.
Or you thought you would be not living in Texas and doing something else. No. You thought you were doing a different job.
No, never.
Or even how you treat people or how you think about day-to-day life or having plants around your house.
No.
You thought you were always going to raise some plants.
No, I never thought about it. I never thought about it. I never thought about it as a kid. I never thought about.
Well, I'm saying take yourself now. Okay. Go back as you were a kid. If you could retroactively think.
Okay.
I'm just saying there are things that we think we will act like, but when push comes to shove, we're in the situation, like things are just different. It would take a lot of self-control to not spend $1 million if you made $1 million every year.
No, not for me. I don't believe so. No, not for me.
Okay, well then that's good.
Not for me. No, because there's no, first of all, I've got weird taste, obviously. And
weird taste can be expensive.
Yeah.
Kanye has weird taste. I'm sure he spends a lot of fucking money.
I don't. No, because if I had, let's say I did have $1 million, I would not go out. I know for sure I wouldn't go out and buy a Lamborghini. It's not my style. I wouldn't. I would get a nice car, but right. I would get a luxury car, like maybe a BMW or something, but I would not buy a Lamborghini.
Okay, so you wouldn't be reckless with it.
Yeah,
but it opens up things. Like you can go on more vacations, but now you're getting the upgraded seats in business class. Oh, and then now you're dating a girl. You want to take her to nicer restaurants.
No, because I don't do that now. I don't, with the money I have now. Like if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not,
Okay, well,
I'm not
going
to, I don't, even the money I have now.
So you are disciplined.
Yeah, I'm not. If it doesn't make sense, like, oh, you can have a first class ticket for extra $1,000 on this 1 hour flight. It's like, it's 1 hour. I'm not giving you an extra. I'd rather go do something else with that $1,000.
Logically, that makes sense.
Than sit in a leather seat for an hour.
Logically, that makes sense because we don't have $1 million right here. But I'm just saying things just kind of change.
No. See, like I would think that I would think in things like that, I would be strong enough in myself to know myself that I wouldn't change for that. There are people that money doesn't make your problems go away. It amplifies the problems that you have, so I think like if you're probably having money problems now, if someone gives you more money, it doesn't mean you're going to have less money problems.
Absolutely.
It means you have bigger money problems with the money that
was the point I was trying to make, is that it might buy you the freedom to do things that you were saying, which I completely agree with, but there's still things there that you don't feel free because you have more money.
Oh, no. I meant as far as like, obviously, paying rent, and I'm not saying paying rent in a mansion. I'm saying paying rent in a
basic needs.
A $300,000 house,
right?
And then and then pay it off as soon as I can with that money that I got, and then put the rest in investments, and then just try to work my way up with the rest I have.
Yeah, so, no, there's no question. Money
so that's what I would do. That's
okay.
what I would do. I wouldn't do anything crazy. No, I would not go. Good. I would not go crazy. No.
There's this documentary on Netflix. It was really old. I don't even know what it's called. Maybe Happy. But they did something where I don't even know the numbers. I'm going to throw out some fake statistics. But the happiness level increased dramatically when you made, say, like 20,000 versus 60,000, and 60,000 to 100,000. But from 100,000 to 400,000 was the happiness level linear to what it was.
Yeah, you get diminishing returns.
Yeah,
with the more money you make.
Yeah, and I think that there's something to that.
The funny thing is that rich people that have that knowledge, the funny thing is that people that don't have that money will never understand that money will never buy you happiness. And rich people that have the money, they don't understand what it's like to be a poor person, and they don't, I've being oil and gas, growing up, I grew up in a certain area in my later years, not in my beginning, but in my later years when I was in high school, I lived around a richer area of town, and I wasn't rich. I lived in the poor area, but our schools obviously had a richer area, and I lived with the richer area. And then being oil and gas, I met, and being in this area of town, I've hung out with lots of rich people, and it's funny to me that like the rich people are, it's almost like a different type of happy.
Do you think they're really happy though?
I know it's a different. No, I believe they're happy, but it's a different type of happy. I can't explain it to you. It's someone that doesn't have money. It's more almost like people that don't have money. The only type of happiness they can find is happiness within themselves and happiness with the people around them, which seems like a better type of happiness. But the people that are rich, they're just as happy, but their happiness comes from like having a good time and going on vacation and the promotions and the accolades that they received. Yeah. Yes, they're happy because of that, but it's a different type of happy.
It's a different type of happy. I'm not here to pass judgment on saying one is better than the other.
Yeah, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I don't know. I'm just saying what I see in my eyes, like
Yeah.
You are happy, but it's a different type of happy. And I don't know if that's the kind of happy that I would want. I don't know if I'd want to, every time I walk in a room, someone be like, oh, congratulations. And like, they pretend to be happy for me. And then when I leave, you know, I'm still by myself. Rather than when I go home and everyone's like truly happy. You know, my family comes up to me and gives me a hug.
Yeah.
Like, we're so proud of you. I'd rather have the second one.
Exactly.
Where like no one else notices, but my family notices.
Because the people like that are rich, they might have great times on vacation. Like, who doesn't freaking have a good time on vacation? Yeah. Hopefully, right? And if you're not having fun, you're going on the wrong vacation. So those things, the external things, and I'm not saying they don't make them happy, they're having a good time. But if in an instant, and which is what happened, I've seen happen in my family, in an instant, all of that's taken away. They're not happy.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not happy anymore.
Yeah. No, it's a
so
fake. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is like, it's not a... Yeah, your happiness is dependent on good things happening to you.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing. That's great when you're in it. If you can sustain that your entire life and provide that for your family and so on and so forth for generations. But if that thing's taken away, God forbid, for whatever, like financially or something happens to your family or whatever, your job or whatever you find success or deem success, and that's taken away, that's not real happiness to me.
Right.
So I would want to try to find happiness, but I do see what you're saying, and I completely agree. When you have money, it's almost like there's a certain type of anxiety that's taken away. You don't have it. You don't have basic needs anxiety. Like, am I going to feed my children?
Right,
that's a pretty big thing that gets in the way of happiness.
The triangle of the triangle of necessities or needs, you know, shelter, food, shelter. I forget what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, absolutely. Is it Maslow's hierarchy of needs or something?
The hierarchy, that's right, of like needs. Like the last one is like self-fulfillment, you know, at the very...
And actualization.
Yeah, actualization, right.
I love that shit.
yeah. But, but they're stuck at, you know, I don't know. I find, you know, it's so easy to get caught up in that, though, you know, and it's so easy to say for people to tell you, like, oh, you're supposed to do it this way because everyone's doing it the right way. And then when you don't do it that way, you start questioning, like, am I doing it the right way? Or am I, tough. You know, because, like, one of the biggest questions is, like, what about if I find myself, what about 30 years from now, I find out, like, oh, shit, they were doing it the right way and I was doing it the wrong way the whole time.
But is there a right or wrong way?
I don't know.
There is no right or wrong way.
No.
You know what it is?
Everyone tells you there is, right?
No,
everyone tells you there is. Everyone tells you the right way. Well, they can
come over and show me how to do the right way because I will welcome it. But everyone has their, and this is me getting a little spiritual, but everyone has their own path. And I think there is no right or wrong way. What works for you might not work for me. What works for me probably doesn't work for the guy down the street or the CEO of our companies or our siblings. I mean, there's a big difference, but I think there was something I was going to say and I lost my train of thought. What are you talking about?
The hierarchy, finding yourself. Oh, the right path for anyone.
Is there a right way or a wrong way?
Right way or wrong way.
I don't remember. It was a really good thought too.
All right. Well, mine is like I guess the biggest fear of that is like, what about if you get to the end? Or I don't know. Like, what about like the thing you thought you're doing right? 20 years from now, you find out like it wasn't right, and you find yourself. Well, at that point, I guess
give me an example. I need an example.
Like, let's say I try to start a business. Well, I don't know, and I do it for 10 years, and at the end of that 10 years, I find myself that the business went under. I don't have any money. I don't have any savings. I'm sick. I don't have any insurance. And I just wasted 10 years of my life on something that didn't work. And now I'm broke. And if I would have stayed with my company or if I would have stayed...
Right. Okay.
You know, maybe it would have worked out better for me in that way. You know, you are definitely doing a risk. And like for
absolutely,
you know, I guess it's for everyone to decide: am I gonna take that risk or am I not gonna take that risk? And I've heard from everybody they say, yeah, you should take the risk, start the business.
I heard that,
even if it doesn't work out for you. But that's easy to say. It's easy to say when you're not the one that's in the hospital without insurance at age 60 with no savings and no one around, you know, or the business that failed. It's sure as a hell a lot easier to say it to that guy then, you know.
It is, but I have those exact thoughts. So I'm with you there. And I think this is cool because me talking to you about you having the thoughts is like talking to me about having the thoughts, but I don't think about this stuff of me having the thoughts.
These thoughts keep you up at night, man.
No, I'm saying I have the thoughts, but I don't talk to myself as if I'm having the thoughts. I'm just in this perpetual cycle of having the thoughts.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking to you, it's like, oh, I'm talking to both of us.
Yeah.
So I agree. And those are the questions I say too. But at the end of the day, like, was it a waste? Is that a perspective thing?
Again. Yeah,
That's like saying if you're in a relationship and the relationship didn't end in marriage, was that relationship a waste?
Exactly. I don't know.
My perspective is no, but
I don't know. But when you're heartbroken and crying and want to kill yourself because that dude because you wasted all that time and he cheated on you with your best friend, what do you say to that person then?
I mean, I hope I'm never in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But I hope I'm never in that situation, but I am trying to, I don't know, I try to see things for a different perspective.
Yeah, it's hindsight is 2020. Yeah, but
well, not even. I mean, I believe, like, let's say relationships, for example. Yeah, my end goal would be to have a life partner that I'm on the same team as them. Marriage, like, that's a thing. Yes, we can get married, but I want it to make sure that they support me, I support them, we help each other grow, like that whole thing I want. But I'm not naive enough to think that every person I meet and date will end up in marriage. And so if I ended up dating someone for a year or more, right, and even though it didn't end up in marriage, I felt like they came into my life for a reason. I came into their life for a reason. I was taught a fuck ton of patience with you. Like, right, I wouldn't have as much patience if I didn't date you, or right, you wouldn't have as much compassion if you didn't date me. Right. And so we had that. So I try to walk out of that, not being like, fuck this, what a waste of a year.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, and it's not fake either, because you can learn something from every situation, and when you're accountable for it and you're learning from it, it's kind of makes it easier to move on.
That's true. I mean, you'll definitely walk away, saying you learned something. That's a good thing, but
you're like, you'll learn not to date bitches.
You're still gonna wonder, like, I wasted opportunity, because you'll never be able to see the other side, and it always will. That's my thing, I guess. It's more like probably what you said is like just focusing on it now. Don't look back. You can't. Or who was it that I was listening to? Oh, Anthony Hopkins, one of my favorite actors. That he did an interview, and so it was. I love like listening to interviews and just usually in most interviews they'll have like one or two good things. But Anthony Hopkins, he said someone asked him like, "Do you have any regrets in life?" Anthony Hopkins is old. He's like, "Do you have any regret?" They just asked him, "Do you have any regrets in life or something that you wish to?" And without like hesitation, the interview asked him like, "Do you have any regrets in life that you wish?" And without hesitation, he goes, "No." He goes, "Really? You don't have any?" He's like, "No. I always focus on what's happening now. If I focus on what's happening in the past, I would never get to enjoy what's happening now or think about the future, because I would always be focusing on the past." And I was like, what a way to look at life. He's like, there might be some things that I messed up on or could have done better in my past, but I don't like to think about them because I like to focus on what I can do now and what can I do better in the future. And I was like, if everyone thought about that way, I was like, wow, that's an incredible way for someone that's so old. I was like, and he's one of my favorite actors. I was like, that's incredible. What an incredible mindset for him to have. I really enjoy it. I was like, damn,
you can adopt that now and live the rest of your life like that.
I know, but it's easier said than done. I know
it is easier said than done. And maybe finding the why would I do that is better than the I know I should do that, because we should do something that's not motivation. Right. Like, I should go to the gym. Is that motivating me? I got to find out why I want to go to the gym, and then okay, I want to be a healthy person. I don't want to have health issues. There's a physical aspect, physical fitness. Just because I should go to the gym is not cause for Crystal going to the gym.
You go to the gym?
I work out at home. I used to actually. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. I used to have a bicep there. Yeah.
What are you benching? What's your personal?
I stopped benching when I was in high school because I started to look like a man. But I maxed out at 120 when I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, dude, that was actually really impressive.
The camera can't really see it, and it's got covered by a little bit of fluff.
That was a good flex. I was not expecting that, to be honest with you. Wow. What do you work out these days?
I downloaded the Peloton app, and so I just do HIIT workouts, strength workouts.
Do you have a Peloton?
No Peloton.
Wait.
I do I know they should call it something else. I do the strength workouts with weights and high intensity interval training and dance cardio, some yoga, like all the other stuff.
Do you do it at your house?
At my house, yeah.
What time do you wake up? What do you do in the morning?
I've been trying to do it in the morning, but
I know it really.
If I work from home, I can do it, but we've been going back to the office.
Oh no, even when I work from home, I've always been, I'm never, I know people say I'm not a morning person. Even when I was a kid, I remember I'd be like 10 years old staying up till 3 a.m. I just was always, I've always been a night person. I don't know why. But it definitely does. It definitely does. It is better for you for sure if you do it in the morning. It gets out of the way. It gets you up in the morning. You feel better the rest of the day.
Oh, I feel like a champ.
People say, I get it. You'll definitely feel more motivated because you're like, oh, you start your day off. It really is. It's better for your body when you work out in the morning. It's one of those things like discipline. Like I appreciate it. I wish I was like that.
Maybe at some point there's just not a reason for you to want it enough like that.
Yeah.
For me, I mean,
I look good enough. Look at this.
Solid. Working out in the afternoon or the morning is not going to change how good you look. You look great. Yeah. But for me, I guess even working out in the evening, all the benefits of working out in the morning, I completely agree with you. And I wish I could wake up at 5 when it's still dark out and get my ass to work out. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like a decompression thing. Yeah. Because I'm like, fucking A, this day. And I'll do a workout and it's good. The timing is a little off. And luckily, it's just me now. I don't have like kids I need to fix dinner for and all that. So I can fit it in. Yeah. But yeah, as long as you get something done, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I think to me, it's, luckily, I've definitely become more, for me, recently I learned that diet is definitely, because I've always worked out, and then I just recently, I used to be fat. I don't know if you knew this, I used to be fat.
What's fat?
All right, right now I probably weigh like 170, between 170 and 175, if I were to guess. I weighed myself in a long time, but if I were to guess, I was somewhere in there. In college, I used to weigh 215.
Really?
That was my highest.
So I've 45 pounds?
I have 45 pounds.
Wow.
I'm 5'8". I lost.
Where was it? Was it like who ate JP?
It was absolutely like who? Because I was still working out the whole time in college because we had a free membership, and I would work out, at least 4 times a day, and I've worked out 4 times a day. Yeah, 4 times a week. Sorry.
But your diet wasn't good. You're eating crap food,
and I did not understand dieting, and so recently I learned dieting. I would say if you could, discipline to eat well, I would say it's like 80% of it is diet.
Honestly, abs are made in the kitchen. They're not made at the gym.
If you ate great, you would work out maybe twice a week, and you could have a 6-pack abs. If you were really disciplined with your eating habits, I guarantee it's just like we eat such bad food. It is incredible. Like we
can talk about food. I am all day, every day. I can talk about food, nutrition. What have you learned? Tell me the biggest things.
It's part of. It's funny that it kind of all plays together in a grand scheme of things. So it's like the healthcare industry is connected to the food industry, which is connected to our education system, which is, it's all kind of like you can't talk about one without talking about the other. And it's weird how they're all interconnected, and you just feel like we're getting screwed out of everything. Like,
so when we realized the food pyramid wasn't actually about our health.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, if everyone, they say this all the time, but if everyone in the US ate better, we wouldn't have this huge, people wouldn't need to use the healthcare system so much. And you could knock out, at least 50% of the medical issues if people just ate better food.
But then we create the problem.
I know.
Because of the money and the industries.
Because we don't educate, and because only, we have like 10 or 20 big factories that produce like 80% of the food in the U.S.
We tell everyone that milk is good for you, fortified with synthetic vitamins, because the money that goes into the government, like it's all intertwined.
It's all subsidized by these, corporations like that are subsidized by the government. It's like I don't eat dairy. I try not to eat dairy. I try not to eat bread because it's just not good for you. You're not meant to. You're just not, especially the bread, especially the dairy that we eat, that processed stuff. You're just not meant to eat that stuff. It's not, your body literally can't process the stuff. You're putting poison in you, and your body's like, I don't know how to process this.
Yeah, it's like cardboard. This is like, you don't know.
You're putting chemicals in me that is not in nature, and your body's like, I don't know what this is, and I don't know how to process it. And it's just like, and it's like, I'm sure it's causing all these health issues, and it's just like, and so it bums me out that smart people, successful people, even the top smart people, successful people, doctors, they eat like crap.
Yeah.
It's funny, like there's people that smoke and eat like crap all the time. It's just like, oh man, if they're the ones and they're the best among us and they still don't get it, you're just like, man, what are we?
Well,
none of us
doctors and their opinions is a whole nother topic.
I know.
And what they learn in science.
I know.
I've had conversations with doctors about it, and they're like, well, it's not backed by science. And then this was one that I had dated when I was in California, and he just thought I was weird for eating like whole food, not Whole Foods the place, but Whole Foods, organic, and things like that. And then he's like, I don't understand why you cut out this or that. And well, I have some food restrictions because I have allergies too, but I'm into that kind of stuff. Fast forward a year later, he's like, I had cut out dairy and gluten from my diet, and I relieved all of my pain. I don't have to take 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. Sorry for calling you crazy at that time.
But it comes to that thing where I've so much invested in it. I don't want to waste the $100,000 I just paid to get this doctor in to learn all this medicine that I can help people, when I'll really just take a walk 10 minutes a day and try to eat better,
Right.
Because I just wasted $100,000 to learn about all this stuff that isn't going to work probably. I don't know.
I don't know. They can change and divert their...
Yeah.
The healthcare industry frustrates me. So that's a whole nother thing.
I get on Reddit and they talk about, the healthcare industry and other, or especially on TikTok too. They'll give me
TikTok has this. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know. I thought it was just dance videos.
Okay, I tell everybody this. all my friends. Listen, if you were on one social media app, it'd be TikTok. I'm not joking. Don't get off Twitter. Get off Instagram. I get it. Get off Facebook. See, all that is a waste of the time. A waste of. I get that. TikTok is not that. TikTok is information. Is it information overload? No. I mean, okay, the good thing about TikTok is it's like Twitter, but quicker. And if you don't like it, you can just go to the next one. So it can be, yes, you can spend hours on there, but depending on what you like I've learned, it's helped me out learning the stock market. It's helped me learning about investing. Really? It's helped me learning about what's going on with the economy. I get the news, most of my news, because the news is going to travel on there so much quicker. There's scientists on there that will give them a breakdown, and then they'll give you something you've never even heard about, and then you can go research, and you'll never hear about it in the normal news. You'll never hear about what's going on because no one's going to talk about it, but it's on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm the biggest promoter. I should work for them.
You should. See, you're getting so excited talking about that.
I am so excited because it's the new, other than someone putting an antenna in your brain, it is now the quickest way to get good information. And I'm not, some of the information, at least you're getting different. Okay, here's the thing. At least you're getting different people's opinions, and it's not like they're coming to you and saying, "Oh, listen to me, I'm right," like that, CNN does or Fox News. They're like, basically, we did the research for you. Here's what we believe. It's it's you going. I did my research. Here's what I found. If you think it's right, here's where I check. You can go check it for yourself. But I'm not going.
So I didn't know it was like that.
It is all. There's so I've watched. It's all about. They have everything what you're into. I watch DIY videos, home decorating videos. I really enjoy on there. There's a whole bunch. I hate that people. See, that's the thing. People will think it's just. They just blow it off it's just the kids. This silly thing these kids do for dance videos.
Well, I'm one of those. I just didn't know.
So much more than that. It is the new. It's the future. You're basically.
So we should invest in TikTok.
Oh, I would,
have you already?
I would 1,000%. I don't know if it's even traded, but I would 1,000%.
I am not on it. I try to limit my social media interactions these days. So
if delete all I agree with you. Delete Instagram.
Just get on TikTok.
Delete all of them.
Okay.
Get TikTok.
Okay.
Get TikTok.
All right. I'll download it and I'll create an account. I'll see what it's about. If it's too much,
you might have to limit yourself and be like, oh, I'm only going to do this for 30 minutes a day. And you would have to you could subscribe to, look up topics that you're interested in and say, I'm only going to look at these. Because trust me, you'll get a bunch of random shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But say for 30 minutes a day, I'll allow myself, because you trust me. I spend hours on there.
You're so excited. You should be in sales. Tech sales.
I'm telling you, other than getting, it's so interesting because you get news from around the world, videos from around the world, opinions from around the world that you would never get otherwise. I don't. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Have you heard about what's going on in Europe right now? There is with a female, and they're having a huge protest, and it just happened in the last few days. I had no idea, and I've never heard about it on any other news site, and I heard about it on TikTok. There's a big deal going on about a female and an officer that's going on in Europe, and I forget where it is, but it happened. They're having a huge, like, kind of like the George Floyd thing we have here, but it's pretty bad over there. Let me see if I can look it up here, and I'll tell you the details. Because I just learned about it. I hadn't, like I said, I heard about the story. I haven't had the chance to look at it myself. What's really going on? But from what I saw, was pretty bad.
I'll look into it. I mean, I try to limit in general my screen time. I try not to have too many apps, and like there's just
of course,
a lot. But if TikTok is the one that prevails, maybe I should go with that.
Yeah, police officer charged with the murder. All right.
So, he killed
her. I'll read you the story. All right. So the disappearance of a marketing executive had touched off a national outcry against gender violence. The officer was also charged late Friday with kidnapping. So apparently, all right, the police officer was charged late Friday with kidnapping and murder of Sarah Everard. I'm not sure. Everard. Everard, is that how you say that? A marketing executive who went missing in South London last week, whose disappearance had touched off a national outcry over the violence against women. The Metropolitan Police officers said that the officer, Wayne Cruzins, 48, whose primary role was patrolling diplomatic premises, would appear in court on Saturday to face charges. The body of the woman was found this week in a wooded area in the southeast England, was definitively identified as Miss Everard's early on Friday, ending days of uncertainty. In just days, her case had come to symbolize a long-standing problem that many women said plagues Britain and could no longer be ignored. That at home and public spaces, many women are not safe. Dead women is just one of those things. Jess Phillips, a Labour lawmaker in Parliament, said Thursday during the parliamentary session, an annual commencement of International Women's Day. Ms. Phillips read out the names of 118 women who were killed over the past year in cases in which men were convicted and charged in the case. Killed women are not rare. Killed women are common, she said. So this is one of those things. They said a cop did it, and they did a visual where a bunch of people showed up, and like the visual got violent, and like they were like cops, or it was just like the George Floyd thing here, but like it was a cop, and they were just like, it's kind of a big story over there because they weren't even, it was like the same thing, like they weren't gonna charge the officer, so they were like, get away with it.
So you found out about that on TikTok. Yes, so you're saying like there is positive TikTok because you wouldn't have found out, but
right,
some of this news otherwise.
Wouldn't even know. I mean, I've never heard about it. I've kept up on YouTube and like on the news on regular, and I haven't heard about it. I mean, it's like a big thing. It's not just I think everywhere around the world they heard about George Floyd, and like I think it's important to hear about women. That happened over there too.
What is your thought in general about news?
The news?
Yeah. Do you read the news every day?
No,
how do you feel about it?
I think
do you keep up with current events?
I try to keep up with. I mean, it's like news. There's 90% of it is bullshit. 10% of it is actually stuff we need to know.
Right.
That's what I think.
How do you get through all of that though?
No, it's easy. You just read the headline. Like I don't care about that. That has no opinion. So just
what's happening, not everyone's opinion about what's happening.
Right. Like I don't care. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It depends on it. Is it going to affect on my life? Is this important for me to stop my day and listen to?
See, that's where I struggle. So years ago, probably around the time I lived in California, maybe about a year after I lived in California, 2014, I decided I was going to take a break from news because it was just so depressing. Yeah. And I'm an empath in some ways. So when I see things, I like feel for the thing or the person of the negative action that's happening. So I would either cry at the news or I would feel so deeply upset. And it was affecting me. And I'm not saying I should let go of some of that, but what happened out there, and not that I shouldn't care about it, but what happened out there, 100,000 miles away, like, is that impacting how I live the day to day? And if it's impacting me in a way where like I'm crying for 30 minutes because of what's happening, it was just my mental health was kind of going down. So I took a break from news, and then I just never really got back into it.
No, yeah.
But then I also feel so disconnected and I feel selfish, and I'm like, well, I don't really know what's going on out there.
There is 90%, even on the New York Times, I follow them on Instagram. I would say 80% of the stuff is just for shock value. It's like, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know that husband killed his wife on Christmas and made their kids unwrap Christmas presents in front of her dead body. I don't need to know that. That doesn't help me out. However, a young woman getting killed by the police in Europe, and so it's like, they're having the same problems we're having. What is going, we need police reform. It's not just a USA problem. We need police reform everywhere, you know. And so that, I want to know that, but it's not just because that will affect the way I make a decision here about our police, because I know it's not just our police, it's everyone's police. It's everyone's.
That's a good point.
So I mean, it can be.
Just got to find it.
Yeah, you got to find out. Yeah, you got to filter. You got to filter yourself. No one's gonna do it, and you got to learn how to cut through the bullshit.
I just think there's so much. There's so many outlets. You can get it on social media. You can get it on CNN and Fox and TV and the internet and YouTube. And now there's been these stand-up comedy shows and those, they make them satirical, and there's just so much. And I'm like, this is a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I'm looking at new, and then there's different. So I was thinking about, okay, this podcast, what are we going to talk about? If it's current events, I'm like, I know a little bit about a lot of things, but not a lot about certain things or most things. And then for my job, I'm in marketing now, and I'm in the automotive industry. So I'm looking up stuff each day about what's going on in the automotive industry. I'm like, that's just one industry. Like, how can I possibly absorb everything I need to know about automotive? And I'm into healthcare. Well, I'm into health. I'm into nutrition. Then read everything about that. And then everything about, there's just so much out there, and my little brain can't keep hold of all of it. And I don't have enough time in the day.
Right.
So I just don't do any of it.
Yeah, but you can't. That's
not any of it. I just don't do as much of it.
Well,
the
problem is, if you're not taking in information, you're just set in your own ways, and that's not a good way to be too. You're like, oh, I know everything, and I'm done.
Well, I don't think I do that. I mean, I do take in information. I just don't do it in mass quantities.
Right.
And I try to see almost every perspective other than mine. So I'm definitely not set in my own ways. I just probably could be more in the know about politics and things like that.
I like getting all the information around, because the more it's kind of hard to. I don't know how to explain it. If you see all the news, it's like standing from looking at a painting up close. If you're only looking at one piece of news that's right in front of you, you're right here looking at a painting, so you can't see the full picture. But if you step back and look at everything, it all starts to come together, and you can see how this affects this, and this is starting to affect this, and this is and it helps you give, instead of they're just focus on this problem right here. It's we can't just focus on this problem. We got to step back and see all these things are causing this problem, and let's see how can we get through. Not that I'm helping fixing them anyways, but
no, but just understanding and being aware is good.
What the problem. Yeah, at least I'm aware. Make better decisions for myself.
So I just need to get my news from TikTok. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm basically telling you is you're old and you should get all your news from TikTok. Is from now on.
Okay, I'll do that.
No, but I really like it a lot. I've been advocating it, and I hate it when people our age are like, oh, it's just for especially when you're our age, you're like, oh, it's just for kids. It's
are you doing the dance videos?
It's like telling your parents. It's like telling your parents oh, they try to ask you about Instagram. You're like, oh, this, they're like, I don't care about it. It's like, no, mom, you gotta know about it.
At least know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parents on Instagram. Do you do any of the dance videos?
No, I don't do any of the dance videos. I'm not an idiot.
What do you mean, an idiot? That actually looks like fun. Would that make me an idiot?
Yeah, it's so many karaoke bars are like fun. Yeah, you'd be an idiot. I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
That looks like fun.
No, I don't.
It looks like fun. I don't even know what I don't know if it's a tutorial.
No, don't get me wrong. There's lots of dumb shit on TikTok, but it's also entertaining too. And I sometimes they'll just go for it for a laugh.
Entertainment.
Yeah. It does have entertainment value, but it's also very educational. But like I said, the best thing about it is you get to pick. Instead of someone telling you, "Here's what I'm going to give you," you get to say, "Oh, I'm going to pick what I get to listen to."
Okay, and that's good.
If I don't want to feel like anything dumb, I can just swipe, and I'm not listening to anything dumb. And if I want to hear your full story and I think you have a point, I'm gonna listen to you.
Okay. How
So,
do you feel about targeted marketing? You like it? You don't like it?
No, I don't. I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. So if I'm gonna look for something, it's the same thing with news. If I'm gonna look at something, if I want to buy a bed, I'll do my own research. I don't need you to come to me and tell me how to find a bed.
So it's serving you ads of beds they think you'll like. You'd rather go through and look at all of the beds you want.
Because marketing, they're obviously trying to sell you their shit, whether it's bad or good, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they don't care if you think it's not. You're in they're shopping for a bed and they want to sell you their bed. They're not saying they're the best bed. They're saying here's my bed.
Yeah.
So like I'm still gonna do my own research, and by you putting a marketing ad in front of me, it's gonna, if anything, it turns me off because like, oh, they're spending money on marketing, so that means the project doesn't speak for themselves. Therefore, it's probably shitty.
Yeah, you could go down that route.
That's the way I look at it. So
it is taking over the world. Are you in marketing? I'm in marketing now, and it's now. Yeah, I was in sales for 8 years before moving to Houston, and then
you're a broker.
No, in sales in for lubricants.
You sold lubricants?
I sold lubricants. I sold lube. We call it lube in our business.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I sold. I had a territory in the Philadelphia area for Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Southeast PA, and then I didn't like it, so I moved out to California.
How many years do you think it's going to take for cars to go electric, all electric?
Well, have y'all
started to prepare for that? I remember this conversation I had from my buddy Alex. He's in college. Whenever I see him next time, I'm gonna talk to him. But I remember in college, I used to go, "Hey man, do you think?" Because he was talking about oil and gas. I go, "Hey, the electricity is the future. Renewable energy is the future." And he was like arguing. He's like, "No, we have." I still have buddies now that are in the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm like, you're just arguing that like the libraries are always, they'll be around, but they're not going to dominate like books or Barnes and Nobles does, or like online sales does, or Amazon does. So like, yeah, you'll still have libraries, but don't pretend like it's still going to be the up and it thing. Yeah, it's not,
There's definitely it's the outlook doesn't look good if I'm talking like 50 plus years. It's going to take time though. So even though there's mandates with like certain car, because I'm in automotive, my customers are the OEMs. So I steward relationships with OEMs, and they have come out and said in Europe by 2030, Porsche is going to be all electric. Right. When GM's trying to take their Cadillac brand and move it all electric. Yeah. So it's definitely going that way. But if you think about the car park, meaning all the cars that are on the road today, what it would take to turn that over will take a long time. Yeah. It's kind of like autonomous vehicles. Yeah, they exist, but in order for the whole system to really work the way it should, all the cars got to be autonomous.
Well, don't get me started with that. I mean, we have I think it's another part, right? The automotive industry in the U.S. is another part of a conspiracy theory. It's like we should have public transportation. We should have that problem solved. Like, how shitty is the public transportation in Houston? Like,
I don't even know if I've ever been on it. Do we have a public? Do we have a train?
It's one of those. It's like
we do have a train.
It's like I feel like we're hurting ourselves for the future. Because we're like, oh, everyone should have a car when. Really, it'd be more efficient for everyone to get to work on time. They'd have to work less. They'd be less stressed out. They'd be more productive at their job if they could have public transportation instead of spending 2 hours in traffic every day.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily the public again, like it's what you were saying earlier, everything's connected.
Yeah.
There's the money aspect. There's the infrastructure and the amount of money it would take to build it that someone somewhere is saying it's not worth it. Plus, in a place
the
like
oil and gas industry is saying it's not worth it.
And maybe, but there's definitely some of that.
Maybe.
There's definitely some of that, but there's places outside of Texas that still don't have great public transportation, like Los Angeles. Oil and gas doesn't run California, but they do not have great public transportation.
I think they have more of like infrastructure, like going over mountains and stuff. But we could still fix it. It's 2020. We could fix that.
It also
Elon
depends
Musk is working on the underground railroad in Los Angeles right now. Right?
Yeah, he's working on a lot of stuff. We're gonna get people on Mars and life on Mars. There's a lot of things. I was looking at a documentary on Netflix about him last night, but it's also the size of the city. It makes sense in New York. It makes sense in San Francisco. It makes sense in Washington, D.C. When you have things that spread out as Houston, Los Angeles, it makes it more difficult. Where do you put everything? Plus, I don't think it's only that. I think the average American person wants control. So they want to get in their car, and whether it takes them 2 hours, they want to drive I commute to Spring in the Woodlands to go to work. I as a millennial, probably would rather get on a train so I can nap or do work instead of sitting in traffic.
I think everyone would want
But a lot of people don't want to ride Uber because they want to drive. They want to have the control of driving. They want to have their own car. And that's like an old school type of way.
I think you're thinking that wrong.
That's an old school type of way. The newer generation, I think, what is it, like 25% or 30% of people that are licensed age don't have driver's licenses. Yeah. So it's changing. But I think there's a lot more to it than just oil and gas saying we don't have public transportation. We can't make it.
I don't think so. I think it's only that. I think it's pure money and greed.
But I don't know if it's only oil and gas driven. There's definitely government reasons. There's other reasons.
No, I don't think there's other reasons besides money. No.
I'm not saying not money. I'm saying government. Government's tied to money too. Don't think that. Okay, and she's not corrupt. I don't know if it's just oil and gas money.
Yeah, I'm saying
it's money, but I don't know if it's only oil and gas money.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying the only reason to you we do not have a good public transportation
in Houston
is because of money.
I believe
the one and only reason.
Oil and gas money is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
And if I don't know Houston well enough. If the people weren't corrupt enough and people weren't selfish enough, and someone said, "Hey, we're gonna do this for the better good of all Houstonians," we could have this figured out. We'd have it figured out within a couple of months, the planning, and then however long it takes to build it. But I don't think it's not like there's no reason why we shouldn't. There's absolutely.
How about the roads? The roads are fucked up. Why don't they put money into that? And that has nothing to do with oil and gas suffering. Actually, if the roads were nicer, maybe people would drive more. So I mean, there's so many other things that we don't spend money on. How about flood? What's it called? Flood plans.
I love how I love how in Houston, we didn't plan for it to get cold, or we didn't plan for it to flood. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it gets cold. It got cold here 4 years ago. It flooded here. It floods here every year. What are you talking about?
Coming from an outside view, I'm like, well, why don't they just fix the problem? And I was told it's the money. Well, of course, they don't want to put up the money to fix the problem, and the excuse is it only happens once every 100 years, even though it's been happening every year for however many years. But no, it's definitely money. I'm not educated enough to say whether it's only oil and gas money.
Sure, fine, it's not oil and gas money, but it's corporations money. It's someone telling the politicians, hey, if you pass this, which you should, we're gonna make less money, so here's our money to get you not to pass this. That's what I'm saying. I don't know whose money it is. Somebody's giving somebody money because there's no good reason. It's not safety. It would alleviate traffic. It would make workers more productive. It would cause less pollution. I mean, all these things. It would make everyone less stressed.
I believe
so. All these benefits. Give me the only thing give me a downside of public transportation. Go ahead.
Just the cost of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I said it is about money. I just don't know if it's only oil and gas money.
The only downside is the cost of it.
No,
that is the only downside.
I don't know if that's the only downside, but it's definitely a big downside.
Go ahead, give me a downside. I'm asking you. You can think of one. I'd love to hear it. Go ahead, give it a second. Think about it. I'd love to hear a downside.
I think that, and I'm not defending it, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm sure they do some sort of cost-benefit analysis on whether people would use it. You think people in Houston would actually use it? Like they do in New York or they do in San Francisco?
Would you use it?
I don't know. It depends on how good it is. If it's like DC I liked. New York, once you get the hang of it, I like. Los Angeles, I wouldn't use it because it didn't go many places and it didn't do what it needed to do.
That's like the rail here. Yeah, we have a rail here, but it's shitty.
Oh.
So if it was better, you'd use it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There was some bus route that we could have opted into to go to Spring. And I was like, I'm not taking the bus. I'd rather drive.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about a bus, a train. I'm talking about, yes. Nobody wants a bus is stupid, yes. I'm talking about a train that goes 70 miles an hour that takes 30 minutes to get from Clear Lake or Katy to downtown. You're not going to get on the bus instead of driving an hour in traffic.
How about
on a train? You're not going to sit on a train for 30 minutes instead of...
If it is infrastructured the way that it should be and it runs smoothly, I would take the train.
It's 22.
But I've lived in places where there is great public transportation and it takes 20 minutes to drive to the train, another 30 minutes on the train, another 10 minutes to get off the train and where your office is, that if I just drove, it would be 40 minutes.
Maybe that's your personal...
It depends on where you are, where you live.
That's your personal scenario, though. But
I'm just saying it's not as easy as hopping on a train outside your door and then getting to the Woodlands and you're there.
I just think for most people, it would be a lot better. For most
people, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
I like to end all these on relationship advice.
Oh, okay. Give me some.
On Reddit. So this one is, it's been 10 years and I, a 30-year-old male, am still not over my college girlfriend, 28-year-old female. What can I do? Hang on. I'll start by providing some context, but don't want to spend too much time talking about the relationship if I can avoid it. I dated a girl for 2 years in college when I was 18 to 20. The relationship was pretty perfect. I'm not exaggerating when I say we did not fight at any point during our 2 years. I've never met someone who I found funny and completely enamored with her personality and her intelligence, caring, ambitious, etc. We lost our vigilantes to each other, our virginities to each other. Traveled through South America on a budget. Spent hours talking to each other on days. Never got bored. Tons of great memories. Okay, we broke up because our parents threatened to disown her if she didn't break up with me and marry someone who was Jewish. Ooh, It was awful for both of us, but I don't blame her. They were paying her tuition and would expect her to risk that for a guy she just met freshman year. I tried reaching out post-graduation, but she still said the wounds were too painful to reopen and could no longer speak. I don't believe that. She is now married with children. Okay, buddy, it's time to move on. I feel like I've tried everything to get over her, but I'm struggling. I still dream about her 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
I can never seem to get her out of my head. Yeah, I've never seemed to get her out.
Guys like this don't exist anymore, by the way.
I even started lucid dreaming and attempting to better remove the influence, but it became too time consuming. I live in New York City, so there's a shortage of people to date. What?
Oh my god!
All right, this guy's full of shit. I live in NYC, so there's no. Oh, he says there's no shortage of people. Okay, that's right. I read that wrong. There's no shortage of people to date.
Okay.
But I've not been satisfied with relationships since. I've dated women seriously since my first girlfriend on a time scale ranging from 6 to 18 months. I've just never felt love for any of them, even though it desperately wanted to. The spark just didn't hit. I worked on some of the relationships timelessly, and the result felt fake. 3 of the girls, however, are very attractive to conventional standards, and 2 of those were very sweet, intelligent, etc. However, it ended because I was fair to keep them in a relationship when I did not love them. I'll admit that I'm the sort of guy a little ugly in the face, but I'm average height, 5'9", but I'd say I'm otherwise attractive and spend a lot of time working on myself and very athletic. Bulgarian? No, I don't know what that word is. And I have an MBA, a great job, as well as the hobbies I'm passionate about. I also make mid to high 6 figures. Ooh, a comfortable lifestyle. I'm honestly losing all sense of purpose in life. I wanted a family so desperately when growing up. I grew up to focus on building a career and providing for them. I'm growing older, and I just don't know what to do. I've been in therapy for 7 years. I've tried CBT. And all slews of meditation, spiritual therapy, whatever. I feel stupid asking Reddit for opinions. It's clear to me complex issues, and I have any advice. Yes, I have advice. You gotta let this go, man. You gotta let it go. Trust me, someone else will come along. Yeah, it's all in your head. I think there would be other girls if you let them. It's all in your head. I think no one's perfect, and if you're depending on one person to make you happy, I don't care who they are. I know you don't think she has flaws. I guarantee she has flaws if you spend more time with her. Maybe not now when you have kids. I guarantee there's times when her husband looks at her, it's like, I can't hate this bitch. That's what I think. What do you think? What would you tell him if he were here right now? What would you say to him? I'd love to get a girl's opinion.
I would say very similar to the same thing, but I would again go into the deeper aspect. Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, hey dude, just move on. Like, it's been a decade. There are better and more fish in the sea. Maybe not better, but other fish in the sea that might solve whatever problem you're trying to solve. But it definitely, after a decade, there's something going on.
This is getting borderline creepy.
There's something going on with him, and so he hasn't figured that out. Once he figures out what it is he's after, and it's not her, it's the feeling that she caused for him at that time. And then he has to understand what about himself was triggered by it and he can't let go of. Once he figures out why and what that is, he can maybe find that somewhere else or address it and not need it so desperately like that, or be open to receiving it from other people. But it's not just, I'm sure how many dozens and hundreds of people told him to get over it in the last 10 years.
Right.
And it's not clicking for him.
Right.
So
for some reason, something's really, well, first of all, I would say, look, if after she graduated, I understand the tuition thing. I understand that because if I'm going to give up $100,000 for you, I just met a year ago. I'm not going to do that. I got that. But after graduation, if she's out of tuition, is like now an adult, can make her own money, and
still family stuff.
Who cares?
The religion,
I
the
would
family
never.
stuff.
I would. I'm not going to not do what I want because of my family. I'm not going to do for anyone in that matter. I'm not going to do what you want me to. If you're going to cut me off, then you're going to cut me off. I mean, I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I'm not saying that isn't
if someone
the right
really
way.
cares about you, they're gonna, other besides breaking the law and hurting someone, they're gonna accept you the way you are.
Yes, and I used to think that, and I still think that, and I would hope I'm never in a position where someone says that to me, my family especially. But I have witnessed some of my friends and their family just completely, like, either just like saying they'll literally disown them, or like you're the biggest disgrace, not talk to them for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, like, I wouldn't do that. Like, if I love someone, my family didn't accept it, they would just have to accept it. And if they really love me, then they would just accept it. But if you're torn between your family, and your family is just so freaking stubborn and they won't get it, you feel like shit. It's like, I love this person. I finally found someone, and you're telling me because I'm not Jewish, or I'm not Buddhist, or I'm not Catholic, I can't be with them, or because they're black, or because they're white, or because they're Asian, or whatever it is. It's a really shitty feeling, and I've seen it tear apart some of my friends' families. So I can say, like, I wouldn't do it.
I'm sure. I'm not saying I would. No, here's what I would feel bad. I would. Oh, it'd be shitty because I'd be like, oh, that's my family. I love them, but that's. I would not.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm not gonna bow down just because you're threatening me with something. Like if I'm right and I can sleep at night because I know I'm right, and I'm not doing it at a place of hate. I'm doing it, and in my heart of hearts, I think I'm doing the right thing, and I'm not doing anything evil or to hurt you, and you're just gonna hold that against me. Well, then that's a you problem, man. That's not a me problem.
Yeah, and you have a strong stance.
I'm gonna sleep well at night, and if you say you can do the same, well then hey, we're both we're gonna live fine. But I'm not gonna do what you want me to do only because you want me to do it. That's not how this works, man.
You have a strong stance, and I think that's a great stance to have. I think there's definitely a difference between maybe how males and females think about that. Sometimes females feel a little bit more indebted, and like they're doing the wrong thing as a daughter, and blah, 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 blah.
But then you're being manipulated by someone.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that I agree with the parents.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I feel empathy, and I hope I never have to deal with that.
Okay.
And I can be like, fuck them, just do this. But that's not always how it works out.
I get what you're saying.
If you want grandparents around for your children, that would suck if you have to disown them, get disowned.
I wouldn't. I mean, what am I gonna? You'll be dead in 5 years. I'm not gonna live my life.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give the rest of my 50 years because you're gonna be unhappy for the next 5. It looks like you're just gonna be unhappy for the next 5, my man.
Yeah.
And I'll be at the funeral when you go.
It's just a sad situation when people are not somewhat open-minded.
Right. I mean, trust me, it's weird, and even when you're Jewish, you think God has a thing about accepting people. I know there's, whatever, but I don't think you would care about, what. Anyway, so besides the point, what my point was is like she had a chance after she graduated to get back with you, and I think that's a pretty weak excuse. Like the pain was too deep. I was like, and that's a sign that if she really cared, I wouldn't have
she wanted
she would understand that you didn't do anything. It was her parents, and she would give it. So obviously she had the opportunity and didn't take it. So if anything, I would take that as, hey man, she had her chance. If she would have wanted to get back with you, she could have. She chose not to. So
he's not seeing that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move it along, my friend.
He still needs to figure out something within himself.
Yeah.
Because if he just makes a decision and without addressing what's in himself, the next relationship, if he gets in one, is probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
It might work, but he's always going to think about that girl and what could have been.
Yeah.
And blah, 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 blah. But he's not addressing what is going on with him.
Man. You got a lot. You got so much going on. You're going to ruin your whole life thinking, like, for a stupid reason if you keep thinking about this. Like, you definitely,
a decade he's thought about
keep
it.
Going
How
through.
many
Keep going
hours?
through. Yeah, I would be like, hey man, you got to keep seeing a therapist. That's what it takes. You got to keep doing those drugs. If that's what it takes. But the way you're thinking is not, something's going on, and it's not normal. So don't think like,
What are people saying?
We'll read the top comment. Let's see. The top comment is, you say you're short and ugly. That's harsh. The most positive thing is the MBA with career lifestyle. Seems post-dated college. I guess that you have a low self-esteem issue as a team and worried about whether or not you find the one, and had a great sense of self-worth, attractiveness, enthusiasm, that has warned, and your current wealth and success do not seem to compensate, let alone attract suitable replacements. So it's very possible they're confusing longing for the past and anxiety about the present and the future. I mean, it's not like your campus life is looking for another 18-year-old to fall in love with, to fall into your life. Stay with me here. This guy's kind of getting confusing along with it. This is all about the present and the future. Stop thinking about your job and your lifestyle and more attractive traits, whether or not. Focus on and cultivate the qualities that cause someone to fall in love with you in the first place. There's someone out there. There's someone out there for everyone. Just walk down the street everywhere you look and see people without MBAs, with low incomes, chubbier bellies, smiling and holding hands. Go figure. Take advantage of the technology these days in this day and age, and you can have more dates in a month than you had in years of college. There's plenty of people to meet out there. You're still young. Unlike a lot of people out there, you know it's possible. Yeah, it's true. And when you go out with someone, treat them like you used to treat your old girlfriend. Yeah, many people have been treated that way and might like it. Have never been treated that way and might like it. That's great advice. Yeah, I would. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with what that guy said. I don't know. I think your idea of this great relationship is in your head, and it's not. Trust me, if you were in it, it would be great.
If I am psychoanalyzing just from the information you read off to me,
yeah,
and obviously I don't know this person beyond what words he put on the World Wide Web,
right?
He's after the feeling that he felt, again, like I said before, of how she made him feel.
Right.
And so whatever that is, maybe that's why he's saying those things where maybe he doesn't think he can get it again. And so he's latching on to that. It's almost like that hope. Like, I had it once. It can be there. I'm so in love with her. But is it her, or is it the shell of her? And it's really how he felt when it was. Maybe it was his first girlfriend, and no one ever after that, he just was so fixated. So I agree with what has been said so far. But
you'll find
7 years of therapy? Come on. He needs a new therapist.
Honestly, just like, I'm not saying, I'm saying it's definitely harder than the average person, but you can get over it if you try. I know.
He doesn't want to.
That's why I know what you want to. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he wants to, because, you really got to, it's probably going to take more effort for you. You probably struggle with the more person than the average, but yeah, you're going to. With that being said, it's been an hour and a half right now.
No way. An hour and a half.
An hour and a half. We got to get off of this thing.
Okay.
Do you want to say anything else before we end? You want people to follow you on Instagram or something like that?
No, absolutely not.
Are you going to tell anybody that you're on here right now?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, who do I need to tell? Do I need to market myself? I'm in marketing. What should I do?
All right. Well, that is the podcast. I will be gone for a month, so I don't know if I'll have a podcast for a month. But when I get back, I will be sure to share all my stories. I'm going to try to write down and remember as much as I can to share when I come back.
Journal.
So look for. Might have to try to journal. So I will look forward to that. I'm nervous. I'm excited. If you're in Costa Rica, hit me up. But otherwise, thanks for listening, and we will see you, in a month. Take care, guys.
Bye. Thank you.